Sometimes manga shopping really doesn't go as planned. Hey guys, what is up? It's HVL Manga here and welcome back to the YouTube channel. So guys, today I have a bit of like a mix of a video. So the video is a manga shopping vlog / adventure, also mixed with a story time because boy, do I have a story to tell you guys. So basically, for some context, I woke up one Saturday morning and thought to myself, let's be spontaneous and let's drive 2+ hours north of me to shop for manga. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, why? Why on earth would you drive 2+ hours to shop for manga? You're crazy. And to that I would say, you're right. But I had a couple reasons. So the first reason was because I wanted to look at new and different stores. The stores around my area are basically just Barnes & Noble, and now I'm very thankful for having Barnes & Noble around me. I wanted to mix it up. I wanted a new, fresh variety of manga, and I didn't want to have to pay retail for manga. Now granted, paying retail for manga is great. You're supporting the creators and the industry, but sometimes you just don't want to do that. And the second reason was because I was absolutely inspired by other creators in the community such as East Coast Manga, Kieran, Tommy, and many others. They just go out into the wild, into these comic book stores and just find so many good things. And I was like, you know what? That's gonna be me. So I decided to go on this adventure. So I drove 2+ hours north of me to go manga shopping, and the first stop that I made once I got there was a Books A Million. And honestly, they had a really good manga selection, so here's the video I took of me shopping in Books A Million. So, great. Books A Million was wonderful. They had some really good stuff. They had a lot of banana fish, which I almost picked up, but I decided to pick something else up, which I will show you at the end of this video. But, next. I left the Books A Million, and I was sitting in the parking lot, and I was thinking to myself, there's gotta be other stores around here, right? Like, there's gotta be. So I did some research, and honestly, I had very poor reception. I couldn't even map myself home. So I was sitting there like, oh, this is good. So I went back into Books A Million because they had Wi-Fi. You'd think 5G would actually be helpful. I guess it's not. Anyways, went back into Books A Million, used their Wi-Fi, and I found that there was a Barnes & Noble nearby, and I know you're probably saying, what the heck? You wanted to get away from Barnes & Noble. Well, around that time, Chainsaw Man Volume 4 and Jujutsu Kaisen Volume 9 was like in Barnes & Noble, and you could like get them early. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna go check it out, see if they have the new releases. So, you know, I plugged it into my maps and went to where it said it was, and it wasn't there. I don't know what happened or why it was even in my maps, but the Barnes & Noble that I went to didn't exist. And at this point, it was raining, it was kind of gross outside, and I was feeling a little defeated. I'm a very positive person, so I'm like, you know what? Nope, we're gonna go find other stores. So I called several bookstores in the area, asking if they had manga or what they had available, and only 2 of them said they had manga. So I'm like, okay, fine, whatever, let's go check them out. So the first store that I went to that said that they had manga was in this downtown sort of area. So the place that I went to 2 hours north of me is kind of like this boutique-y, kind of like, bougie sort of town or city, I guess. I don't even know if it's a city. Regardless, it's this kind of bougie little place, and I was like, there's bound to be stores here. And there was a main bookstore in the area, and I called ahead. They said they had manga. They said that they were starting up a new section just for manga, and I was like, all right, well, let's see what me from that day thought about that store. Okay, so basically I arrived probably like 2-ish hours ago, and I've been to 2 stores. The first store was a Books A Million and was very, very successful. I'll show you guys everything that I got when I got home. But the next store that I went to, I called ahead and was like, hey, do you have manga? And they're like, yeah, we just opened like a new section. And I was like, oh, great. So I drove like 20 minutes, and all that they had was My Hero Academia and Haikyuu and like really random volumes. So basically that was a waste of time, and I'm doing some research around the area, and it seems like there's a lot less manga stores than I thought. So I'm gonna do a little bit more research, see what happens. Push comes to shove, I just go home and go to my local Barnes & Noble because I want to see if they have any new releases. But yeah, it's been slightly a bust, but kind of fun all the same. So yeah, that store technically did have manga, but it wasn't what I was looking for. It was a very small selection of like My Hero and very popular series. I was like, this wasn't the rare gems that I was hoping to find. So then I'm like, you know what? I'm a positive person, probably too positive sometimes, and I'm like, I'm not gonna let this get to me. I have one more store to go to. They have manga. It seems like a very like mom and pop older store, so maybe they have older manga. So I drove 20 minutes kind of in the direction that I needed to go anyways to get back to the house that I live in. And I get there and it's like in the middle of nowhere. How are stores even open in this area? How do they get business? I don't know. So I was like rolling up to the store, just already feeling slightly defeated, but I'm like, you know what? No, like keep going, keep pushing, and pray. So I got into the store and I went to where they told me the manga was, and this is what they had. So basically, when a store says they have manga, don't assume it's gonna be good. So at this point, it was like 7 p.m. and I was gone for a majority of the day, and I had my dog back at home that I needed to take care of, so I'm like, I am going home. I'm slightly defeated. I'm going home. Like, this trip, was it worth it? I don't know. You tell me in the comments down below. I had a couple takeaways from this trip, and let's just reflect together. Number 1, do your research. If you are going to take time out of your day to go to a new location to shop for manga, do your research. Look up comic book stores in the area, look up bookstores, make the phone calls ahead of time because you're gonna regret it if you don't. Second thing I've learned, just because a store says they have manga, it doesn't mean that it's gonna be quite what you're looking for. So, I've learned to start asking the stores to read off some titles. So then you can kind of see if it's a lot of the generic titles that you find everywhere, you know that you don't need to go to that store unless you want those titles. But you can kind of get a sense then, once they read off some of their series that they have, if that store is going to be for you and if that store is going to have what you want. And number 3, if you're going to take time out of your life to travel for manga, make sure that you're going to a place that will set you the most up for success. If I went 2 hours the other way, I would have hit a very large city that probably has a lot of manga shops. So basically, was I stupid? Yes. Yes, I was. I will be the first to admit. So even though I didn't quite get out of that trip what I was hoping that I would, I did pick up some manga from Books A Million. Now, all of these were for retail, and paying retail for manga isn't a bad thing, especially because, again, you can support the creators, and it's just good for the industry, but it wasn't what I was looking for. But you've already seen these before, but I picked up Dorohedoro volumes 1 through 7 from Books A Million. I didn't even realize until recently that Barnes & Noble normally doesn't have Dorohedoro. Does anyone know why? Like, is that an actual intentional thing? It probably is. But I'm glad that I picked these up because honestly, this has been probably one of my favorite series recently. But let's just say I was expecting a little bit of a different outcome on this trip. Oh. That's good. So guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you can take some of this advice that I've learned from this experience, and I hope you can laugh at me a little bit because honestly, in the moment I was kind of frustrated, but looking back, it's kind of funny. Again, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I would love to know, has there been any manga shopping fails that you've experienced? Let me know, because that'll help me feel better about my failure. So thank you guys again so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.